a moment of clarity for your journey ahead. Today, let's talk about small groups, big impact, the heartbeat of church community. I want to share a few practical, scripture-shaped ideas you can carry into your week. What turns a crowd of churchgoers into a genuine spiritual family? For many, the answer is found not just in the Sunday worship service, but in the humble, heartfelt gatherings of small groups. These are the living rooms, kitchens, and quiet corners of church buildings where relationships are strengthened, faith is deepened, and God's transformative power is most evident. Throughout church history and across the pages of Scripture, God calls His people into community, not just for friendship, but for mission, growth, and care. In this commentary, we'll explore how small groups embody the heartbeat of the early church and unlock biblical principles that foster true spiritual flourishing. Small groups in Scripture, echoes of the early church and model in Acts. The earliest churches were more than mass gatherings. They were networks of small, intimate circles. Acts chapter 5 verse 42 records, "And every day, in the temple and from house to house, they did not stop teaching and preaching the good news of Jesus as the Christ." Notice the balance. Large public worship and personal connection. This rhythm was not a mere strategy, but a spirit-led structure. Matthew Henry underscores that their labors in public were not a substitute for their labors in private. He points out that spiritual growth spanned both crowds and couches, providing opportunities for instruction, discipline, and encouragement at every level of soul care. The early church's vitality lay in its commitment to persistent teaching, both in formal and informal settings. The key term, house to house, the phrase, house to house, does more than describe a location. It underscores the intensely personal nature of Christian discipleship. In these intimate gatherings, faith became real as believers could ask questions, share struggles, and experience the love of Christ through one another. Theologian John Calvin highlights that such proximity makes the truth take a moment to reflect on what God is showing you. Resonate in hearts, rather than remain mere hearsay squared. Key takeaways. The early church flourished through both corporate worship and small group fellowship. House-based gatherings foster deep personal transformation and discipleship. Small groups today echo the ancient model, creating space for real growth. Spiritual growth and mutual care. The power of sharing life encouragement and accountability. Growth in faith is rarely a solitary pursuit. The Apostle Paul guides us, bear one another's burdens, and thereby fulfill the law of Christ. The law of Christ is the law of love. According to John Calvin, this love is not mere sentiment, but practical empathy, demonstrated through active support. Cubed. In the context of small groups, this means creating a safe environment where struggles can be voiced and support is freely given. Too often, Sunday mornings mask real issues. Small communities allow us to speak the truth in love. Here, prayer requests aren't perfunctory, they are a lifeline. Confidentiality, active listening, and prayerful support become the bedrock of true Christian community. Practical application. Building supportive groups. Practical ways to foster encouragement and accountability include opening meetings with honest sharing. Invite honest check-ins, not just religious pleasantries. Praying specifically, don't just promise prayer. Pause and intercede right there. Weekly follow-up. Encourage text message check-ins or lifts to those facing tough circumstances. Before you go, here's a simple challenge. Pick one sentence from today that stood out, write it down, and pray it back to God in your own words. If this encouraged you, consider exploring more of Life Compass, one small step at a time. Your next step awaits.